they're not really allowing anyone else in. So they said they would run it. Channel 8 is going to do like a whole camera or something, if we can pull from that. But otherwise, it's not. We can't really get inside.
You were with it?
No, I know. I don't. I'll be honest. What's up? No. There's a bunch of people outside. Let me get Brenda to let me see if I can set up the camera maybe over. Maybe I'll just have to do it pretty low.
You don't get the time capsule.
But it might have to be something like this. You can see my hit.
There you go. Beer and champagne.
This was the only one that had an item before the guys. The rest of them, like,
Let me see.
I don't think there are any reports.
Hey Steve, how are you?
Hey, how's it going?
Wiggle and jiggle.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. Your first name is
Yeah, I did.
right. And it turns out this is not it.
Alright, this is probably the closest I can get. If you're still there.
Did you get one of those?
No, just right. Do I need it?
Oh, just a few minutes.
Yeah,
for that
thank
information. Yeah. How are you?
Hey, is this guy saying anything? You're capturing?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, can I have your attention, please? First of all, many thanks to everyone for being here. I'm Grant Neely, I'm the Governor's Communications Director. There's a whole lot of people here. So here's what we're going to do. Nothing is going to happen until the governor arrives sometime in the next 15, 20, maybe 30 minutes. When they arrive, they're going to come straight over. He's going to come in this door right here, and he's going to do a quick speech, quick talk, together with Julie Langen, who is the head of the State Department of Historic Resources. This is her team's lab. It's her team that's doing the work. They're going to talk about what has happened with the monuments in and around Richmond and Virginia over the past many months, the process of taking them down, why that was done, the laws that have been changed to make that possible, and the fact that this time capsule is one of the last steps in that whole process. Then Julie, the professional historian, will introduce her team members. She will talk about their credentials and why and how they've been trained to do this work. She'll talk about what they expect to find, what they hope to find, and also what they might not find. It could be nothing. We also don't know, is this going to be a 30-minute operation? Is it going to be a 12-hour operation? Is it going to go on for several days? That's not knowable right now. What we do know is this: there's a lot of people here, and everybody deserves and is going to get the opportunity to see what is happening. Part of the time, you're going to need to be out here looking through this window, and I promise you, everybody here is going to be able to cycle throughout the day in and out of the lab so you can get different angles, be up close, see what's going on, get the flavor, talk to people, and get what you need. But I need y'all to cooperate and be flexible about moving in and out. We're going to make sure that you know everybody who's here. I've talked to my own staff. You see a whole lot of state officials in there. They're going to be moving in and out as well because there's just a whole lot of bodies around. So I'm asking you to be cool, be flexible, and help me on this. All right? I'm going to make sure you get the chance to meet each of the professionals working here. I want to also make sure you meet Mr. Henry, who's done the work on Monument Avenue over the last more than a year. And he's a bit of a local celebrity. He's a humble guy, and he's laughing right now. But he's a good guy to talk to as well. All right? Everybody's cool with that?
Yep.
Excellent. Thank you all for being here. This is a really cool thing, and I hope it turns out well.
Hey, great. What's your last name?
Neely. N-E-E-L-Y.
Got it.
Who are you?
Stephen, going on PAP.
Hey, Steve. Good to see you. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we have no idea. I mean, we've been drilling into that rock. I got it. I have no idea.
How's all your work been going?
What's up?
How's all your work been going?
Oh, it's all right. I wish I was doing some more like personal photography work, but you know, kind of caught up in work.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I know. Same here.
Yeah. I try to bring my camera along when I can, but you know, I'm doing like video now. But sometimes it is tough to even find the time for it.
Oh yeah.
No, that is. I'm gonna go get my laptop here for 14 by 7 by 12 inches tall. It's 58 inches tall. Yeah, how you doing? Where's Virginia? Oh, what up, Bill?
Oh, right. We do.
I don't know if what you read. I'm gonna go over
I'm like, boy, did you get inside?
You won't feel like you know what you're doing and nobody will ask you questions.
I know.
That's not too.
They can go. They can go. And see, our reporters are ready.
Have like a little pressure while you're doing your job.
Well, exactly, but she seems cool as a cucumber.
Yeah.
I don't want to miss you.
How many times I went on assignments? Yeah, people would always say they found the flu, so we would have to go out for hours and it would rotate us out.
I know.
Our shift. It's like different shifts.
Okay, I was thinking the same thing.
Even granted that it was enclosed and it's not the same size. But we found it in the condition that we did, right?
You said there was an inscription on the side.
That ended quickly.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, I was, I'm just,
No, you're just like box.
no, I just did my cell phone because the governor's about to come, so this is a mess. Thank you.
Excuse me, real quick.
Excuse me, guys, I'm so sorry.
Sorry.
So the idea is to move everything to single place. That's Kate Ridgeway. It's a lot of material. Takes up a lot of space, so there's some practical considerations that we have to work through as well. But in places that have expressed desire. Well, like I said, we're kind of actively working with the city on it, and they're helping us with that as well. But none of that stuff goes to the city with the land, right? The city just gets the land, not the statue. The city gets the land, and then we have like some ongoing discussions with them about everything else and how to get that structured. Any agreements to make sure that all the materials end up in a multiple. And that city could very well play a role in they have the same priority that we do, which is making sure that all of these materials end up at a museum and that experts in the field of history are able to thoughtfully think about next steps on this land and share. So this is a different person.
Yeah.
So she's looking at something else.
That's Kate Ridgeway.
Mystery is, what's the deal with the two mysteries? What's the deal with
I can see that smile behind that mask. That's right.
No, but you know what, though, it could be exactly right. There's really a copy one down there. We'll be removing the foundation.
We're not going to want that. That's the line.
They're doing that today.
I feel like a second class citizen.
So we're cutting It's so, I got that story yesterday. It's literally
Same brain had the model was made up. It just was never shaped.
Oh, yeah? What do you think?
I think they sort of slurry.
Scotty, you been in? No. Okay, yeah, go back.
I think someone else has any, there's some copper alloy. I think it was, you said it higher, I think there's something higher. Because I see conversion as a it's hard to know.
It's amazing that water we found in there.
I know, it's digital infiltrate gas. It's one of the, so often these are damaged, it's not, maybe we'll be fortunate, maybe some of the upper items in that box will be fine. It's just like, there's a lot of mystery, a lot of stories that I think about. You can have my spot. Probably gather up and get out of here. Thank you. It's up to you, Dan.
Hey, Chris. All right, ladies and gentlemen. First Lady Pamela Northam.
Well, good afternoon to everybody, and thanks to all of you for joining us this afternoon. This is an exciting day for Virginia. As you all know, we have been working together collaboratively to remove these statues for the last couple of years. And finally, just a couple of weeks ago, we made the decision to take that into pedestal. And as part of that process, we found what we think is the time capsule that has been there for 134 years. So this is an exciting day, exciting historical day to finally reveal what's in this capsule. But I would like to say that as the governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia, we are a Commonwealth that embraces diversity. We are inclusive, and to have statues and monuments that have been in our capital city, there to glorify the lost cause, to glorify those that fought for the Confederacy, that fought for the institution of slavery. We don't need those. And so I am proud as the governor that these have come down. We look forward to working with our museums and the city of Richmond to really make Monument a welcoming avenue as people approach the state's capital. So I want to commend everybody that has been working on this project together, led by Julie Langen, our Director of Natural Resources, or excuse me, of Historic Resources. And I, without further ado, we'll turn it over to Julie. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Governor. It's my pleasure as Director of the Department of Historic Resources to welcome all of you here today for what we hope will be a very exciting event. And before we get on to that, I'd like to just set the stage a bit. The metal box that we are about to open arrived here last Friday, and it was embedded within a 1,500-pound boulder of granite. And we were assisted yesterday by the conservation firm B.R. Howard to extract that metal box from the stone, and we were then able to bring it into our conservation lab. And our team has been preparing it for today's opening. I'd like to just say a word about our conservation team, which is led by Catherine Ridgway. Catherine is a highly credentialed conservator. She received her degree from Durham University in the conservation of historic objects. She went on to get a graduate degree. She's the immediate past president of the Virginia Conservation Society, and she's also a fellow in the American Institute of Conservation. She's assisted by Chelsea Blake, who is also a highly credentialed conservator. And they worked into the evening last night to photograph, to assess, to test the metal, and prepare for what's about to take place. Now, what is going to take place? I wish I knew the details of that. There are some anomalies. The box is not the size that we expected. There's a slight derivation from what had been recorded in contemporary accounts of the box. It's not copper, which we had been led to believe that it would be. And we don't know what's in it, and we'll all find out together at the same time. So, welcome, and we'll be available afterwards to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Julie.
All right, so the governor and Julie Langen are going to walk down the hallway, go inside, start the work, and as we discussed earlier, everybody is going to have the opportunity to be inside, but not at first. Cool?
I blocked her as long as I could.
Well, they attempted to, right? Because they thought it wasn't what it was. Okay. So maybe
Sorry, man, you're doing sense. Oh, okay. No.
Are you going for the day?
I don't know.
I'll be in touch. Thanks for the question.
Good to see you too. Nice to meet you. I'm sure we'll be talking again.
No.
You can't find a good place.
Turn on, Lucy? No.
do you want your photo with it?
Oh, no, I was saying inside.
Oh, the photo, that is true. Well, so,
We had read on the list, right, that is at a postcard.
they used the word picture, so.
A picture post or photographic postcard, which is what I saw in the Albemarle County broadcasting. And this is a postcard of the funeral sculpture.
That's what was on the list, so you'll see, although looking at what was supposed to be in there by the list, just how big it is.
There's not a very, it's pretty small, isn't it?
It's possible they made the list and then they were like, well, these things aren't gonna fit, well, I think there's a lot better possibilities for the artifacts made of metal, made of wood, even textile, coming in a little better shape than the artifacts. We'll see. We just gotta wait and see. Yeah. It's a process.
That's what we do in science, right? Does it not always turn out the way we expect?
That's my favorite part.
Right? I agree.
I'm just not used to being watched during science.
Think of all the young people that will be
Oh, I
excited
hope so.
about
We love that.
archaeology and
Because I think there's a lot of overlap between science and history that I think people don't recognize, and it's just so much fun.
it is, and art.
And art, all of it. And this is the job. Being a conservator is the job that involves all of that.
All of that put together.
Yep. I really love how preservation is coming to the forefront here, about how important it is to document these artifacts and treat them as living parts of our history as well.
And primary source material is really important.
It is
for people to
very important.
understand, I think, too, that we have actual documents from history.
Yeah.
What they can tell us.
Oh, yeah,
That's what that's like. For me, it makes me feel like I get my teeth.
And now he tells his hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a lot of work. That's your part. These are great.
We also have that plan where we're tagging in and out. It's just that this is too cool for me to put in, and I want to make sure. I hope we're not messing up your schedule too much.
What is the way that you all included us in our very first one?
Oh, we're excited to have you here.
We're just excited with science and history. So often we work quietly in the background, and you all, I know as humble as you are used to that, but I'm so glad because I think people need to see the wonderful work that you all do, and I know Julie has done for a long time. So appreciated.
How's it going there?
Oh, it's
going?
if you need a break, let us know, because we certainly understand.
I don't want to hold you guys up.
No, don't worry about it. You have to talk about a crick in your neck. I can't imagine.
It's, so yeah, normally we would be working on this for a lot longer.
Yep.
And,
Spaced out.
taking more, yeah, exactly. This is a little different for us, so.
It's just a weird angle.
As long as everybody's patient with us, that's what we
yeah.
would appreciate.
Of course.
So I hear you're gonna find the next one, right?
Well, they're being very careful. They're being very careful. They're working very hard, long
I know,
hours.
you guys have been doing great. When I was there on Friday, your team was so fantastic. I was working with Mike,
Yeah.
Gary the forklift driver, who was amazing. We had a little parade come
Yeah.
down Kensington. They were so great to work with,
Those
honestly.
guys are awesome.
They
They're
are.
working very hard, very diligent.
They are, and I know they have a deadline.
Now they're going to have a new job.
Right.
Right, yeah, oh my god, they were so fantastic, honestly. from the minute they saw it, they were like, "Whoa, this is different. This is different."
Step away.
Stopped and was careful. That's
Absolutely.
really important. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
You could do a lot of inadvertent damage very quickly. I would
Right. Yeah. And to be fair, their job is their job, and our job is our job.
Yes.
So.
Everybody has a special role to play.
Right. Exactly. A lot of screens. A lot of screens. Yes. This
Explain
is
the material and why this is so hard because the outside is so hard and the inside is so hard. So you can't work so hard to get through that outer layer and then be really careful that you don't get through the soft
yeah. It's a
inside.
little nerve-wracking, as you can imagine.
Definitely a puzzle.
Yeah. A lot of our work ends up being puzzles.
It's not willing to give up its secrets easily.
No, we end up having to sort of play it by feel a lot, because when you're dealing with things that have been buried for hundreds of years, you really don't know what you're getting at the end.
That's where the art comes in.
Yes, exactly.
So how many years have you been preparing for this?
A few years.
All your wonderful work has come to fruition.
All for
this moment.
I don't think she was expecting this, though.
She thought she'd be behind the scenes.
She thought she should be over there, but it turned out to be more difficult than we thought. No, that would make everything so much more easy.
You know what, the love.
What?
We have to use the paleo tool.
We might. It's the paleo tool is basically a very small jackhammer.
Bring
It's
it
the
on.
worst sound in the world.
It's one rank up from this is the Vibra Tool. It's one, and the sound is awful.
We'll have
It
to
is,
like
you
go
know,
out
yeah.
and years.
It is terrible.
Is it that bad?
Not yet.
Okay.
Still has
so much, people need that visual and like understand, like to see things, to understand them truly.
And knowing the difference between fact and fiction.
Right.
We should start there, shall we?
Right, let's start there.
I want to see it.
Indeed.
History has so much to teach us.
Oh, yeah.
Y'all standing around, let us know if we can help. I feel like
No, this is,
Watching and making you
no, you're fine.
That's what we're here for.
This is our job.
Y'all been doing a wonderful job.
This is one of your perks.
all kinds of people that are very excited. Boxes and boxes from another historic home.
We have about 10,000 boxes of artifacts, and so we have about 6.5 million artifacts all told, and so that's our job. It's the history of Virginia. So.
I'm glad you are friendly historic resources because we want this preserved. And you also have a lot of things out there like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Where would you like me to do that? Oh, right here?
Yeah,
Let me get a thing of water.
I'm gonna make something that's thick enough for me to get my stronger tool under there. Because right now, just everything I'm getting under there is just bending under it. So.
Very hard.
Yes, lead is not supposed to be this hard.
So, for those of you new to the room, if you haven't heard me talk before, we recognize this is taking a long time. Our goal is to preserve as much of the historic value of this artifact as possible. We're trying to be cognizant of the fact that this box is also an artifact, so we don't want to just cut it open. And so what we're trying to do is use the original opening to open up the box. The problem is that when they put the box into the piece of granite, there was mortar in there, and so the mortar covered the box and has also gotten into the seal. And over time, besides the mortar, the lead has corroded together, and it's making this process a lot more difficult than we really had anticipated. So the problem is we have to keep switching between tools that are good for removing mortar, which is hard, and tools that are good for preserving the lead, which is soft. So if you have any questions, please let me know, and please have patience with us while we try and make sure we preserve this historic part of the monument. Thank you. Questions? Yes.
You were talking about the documents that had said some dimensions of of a box. Could you go through that again?
Sure. So there were historic documents, newspaper articles from the time when the original container was put in. Those documents say that this should have been a 14-inch by 14-inch by 8-inch box made of copper. What we have is a 8-inch by 11.5-inch by 4-inch lead box. So there are some questions here that we will not be able to answer until we get this open. Any other questions? Yes.
Yeah. Could you? Are the materials significant in that sort of way? I guess copper strikes me as something that's more expensive than lead. So is that?
That is definitely a question for a historian. What we do know is that in researching other time capsules, those time capsules have been copper. We were really surprised to find something lead. So that would be a question for somebody who knows more of the history than I do. We're the preservation experts, and I know some things, but not everything.
When you say other time capsules, is that largely a reference to time capsules from the same era, or?
So, some from the same era, some sort of the same style. So there was a similar time capsule. There's a similar time capsule found in North Carolina under their Robert E. Lee statue that comes from a roughly similar date. And that box, if you see it, there are pictures. It's a copper box the size we were expecting, and that is just not what we have here.
For those of us who haven't heard, can you just tell us about the names of the tools and what they do?
Excuse me, yes. So, the loud one you're hearing is a Vibra Tool. It is a very controlled tool that vibrates and has a hard metal tip that is much more easily controlled. It's good for getting the mortar separated from the lead. Chelsea is the expert at this tool, so she is going to be the one doing any of that work. Then she's also using, you'll see sort of regular dental tools. We have a bunch of things like micro spatulas, which are these little things. We have tongue depressors. Some of the tongue depressors have even been sharpened to a point because the wood is much softer than the lead, and the wood will help us work better around the lead without harming it.
And the governor says some of these look like brain surgery tools that he's
Also brain surgery tools.
Our neurosurgeon's son uses some of those. They look like dental tools.
Yes,
to
I
me,
can do that,
but
yeah.
I'm gonna get my teeth filled.
Well, and we use crafting tools, so a lot of clay work tools and things like that.
We really, any tool we can get our hands on that looks like it'll do the job. We have such a specialized profession that nobody makes tools for us. We use tools that make sense for the job.
We love hardware stores.
Oh my God, we love a hardware store.
So much.
No hardware store in particular, all of them.
All of them.
Yes.
What do you make of the signs of corrosion on the bottom of the box?
So, yes, so we have looked at the underside of the box, but we can't, for obvious reasons, we can't tip the box. We're unwilling to tip the box at this time. We haven't had a lot of chance to do a lot of examination. What we're seeing, we think, is,
Okay, I'm gonna come around.
what we think we're seeing is some sort of lead corrosion, possibly caused by its interaction with the mortar. The mortar may have been wet when it was put in. If you look up the box, on the underside, we're seeing what almost looks like iron corrosion or rust, maybe. And we're not sure why we're seeing that, and we won't really know why we're seeing that, I think, until we get this open. So, yeah.
Excellent. Well, and I have another one for you that you can do for them. I will. I'll make sure they're all for you. So the first time that
And we had a nice lunch, and as we were saying goodbye, he wanted to shake my hand and just
passed
slip
it.
it in.
That's the way you do it.
And I walked out. What is this? Somebody had to explain it.
So I usually explain it because I usually deal with children, although their response is it chocolate? And I have to explain, no, but it's still very special. Yes, it's still very special.
My husband was in the Army, so
So you know this. Well, we're an Army family, so we appreciate his service. Thank you very much. You'll get that, yeah. You're so welcome. Mine aren't quite as big as fancy as some of them are, but you know, I usually have to explain them to people who've never had an interaction with military folks before. Something progress. I know, right?
I
don't
wish.
even, don't even, no, I know, that was very optimistic, thank
We
you.
were hoping, we got started 2 hours before
Well,
anybody was supposed to arrive, thinking, we'll get it.
Too, yeah, so we appreciate that. Scientists are always willing to work in lots of difficult situations for long
Do what you
hours,
gotta do.
right? That's part of the fun, I think. You'll be interested in our research around the historic, the different examples of kind of research and historic systems, people who work there. Even trying to track down letters, archival letters. Do you know Kelly Dees, Dr. Kelly Dees? She wrote the definitive work on historic fiction. She's really a wonderful young lady. She was an archaeologist that wrote a very famous textbook on archaeology. And she is actually now pivoting to looking at the First Lady letters. Because what she thinks is literally most of the roles of the First Lady slave people were, I mean, they were usually like all the so she's going to look at the First Lady letters to see which have been, what collections are in, and then will they be missing more of sort of the day-to-day details in life. Yeah, right? And so I'm really excited about what she'll bring. I was so worried that we would find much to begin with, again, because there's so little, even how we find names, because our families change over so constantly. It's not one family living in a historic house living in a room. But we're finding them. We had at least 5 families come together to honor before COVID. So we really want them to inform them to be a woman's function. So, but that research is, that's the important part is finding those letters, and that's really what led part of our first work, is we found letters between the Jeff and Valentine family in the Greeks library. Oh, yeah, so somebody was smart enough to go and gather up a whole bunch of governor's papers in those early days. I wonder if there's any of that at UVA library. I would be interested to see, yes. I think the work is just beginning there.
Chelsea, beware, you're creating some dust.
Yeah, I saw. Thank you. Don't breathe in the dust, by the way, guys.
Yeah, well, I've got a mask on. Do we need to back on?
The mask should do it.
That is one really great thing about everybody wearing masks now. You all have done that for a long time, especially if it's lead.
I think we're probably going to end up Vibra tooling around it and breaking up that corrosion so that we can then lift it out. I mean, this is fingers crossed.
Yeah.
That's hopefully what we're going to do.
So fingers crossed, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
I got some other equipment at the site.
Oh, don't worry.
I can bring by.
He's got some pneumatic stuff in there.
We'll call on you if we need it.
Out of my realm as a paper conservator.
Right? I just do the paper later. And so did y'all take up a collection deal last night or what?
Oh, that's for the treats that are used.
So we started getting treats for people during COVID, and so we call that our good deeds jar. When somebody wants to pay us back for the treats, we have them put something in there. Yeah, and then we use it to buy lunch for somebody who's having a bad day or something like that, and it's just a nice way to
I
feed
love
somebody.
that. I love it. It looks like you went around, like the church collection.
It looks like a collection plate. It really does.
They have a great lab here. I love coming here.
Right? It's a lot of fun. I can see that for sure.
I work alone a lot, and I've been wondering. I've been
Good
wondering how
teamwork.
it's great.
Yeah, I noticed those Reese's peanut butter cups in there. That was the first thing I saw. Forget about all the historic elements. I'm looking at the Reese's. I spotted that.
Got your eyes on what's important.
Right? I noticed your Penzi magnets over there. That's awesome.
They're great teamwork with Kate.
Yeah. They were so kind to me.
Kate, is Kate in here?
She's out there.
Okay.
Do you need me to grab her?
Not yet. We might have a powwow or a discussion about this.
Cramp up.
Well, there's a certain point where if I go too far into some of these, I risk doing more damage, and so we'll just kind of reassess and maybe change our tactic. So we just have to kind of decide how we want to go about that.
Everett, does this make you think you might want to study one of these sciences? Is it exciting? It's pretty exciting. Think that what's in there people haven't seen for over 100 years, right? Like a big puzzle.
It's giving a little bit, but it's basically just adhered down with that corrosion and that mortar, and so
Kind of like a bone with fossilized, kind of.
yeah,
All that's bled into the material.
it's all of the same minerals. Yep.
Yeah, it's just become one mineralized function.
Yeah. So since I'm not the lead on this, I definitely don't want to make any decisions.
I tell you, we didn't have to protect it.
Protect and preserve, number one,
I've
right?
been asked a number of times if we're going to use a torch.
Oh, no.
No.
With paper materials?
That's not an option.
Oh my gosh. Here she comes.
Thank you. Hi. You were at Thanks for coming. Okay. I think you'll have to be careful.
Asking your opinion.
Oh, yes. So we're kind of getting to the point where it's well adhered.
Okay,
So
maybe we can do this.
yeah, I mean, every side has a bit that's well adhered. So at this point, I'm just wondering, do we just want to try like really getting a scalpel
I
into
think
it?
we're gonna have to. Yeah.
Okay.
Do
All right.
you want to do it or do you want me?
I don't mind tagging out. I could definitely use a break.
Okay.
So I will tag out.
You should go talk to the media for me then. Thanks.
Oh, yeah.
Well done, you.
Make sure I'm not caught up.
Thank you, Chelsea.
Yeah,
Not a problem. You good?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Chelsea?
Yes.
This is my First Lady Challenge coin. You know what a challenge coin
Oh,
is?
I'm jealous.
No, you have one as well.
Oh, okay, good. Thank you.
It has the state seal of Virginia on that. And of course, because I'm an old science teacher, I have all the different native species on the back. So thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate you hanging in there. You're a good soldier. You're hanging in there for sure. So that's awesome. Thank you. And we'll put yours in the donation plate.
Yes,
okay?
put mine in the donation plate. Thank you. It's our good deeds plate.
I love that. I love it. I thought maybe y'all were taking up a collection here for
Well,
your
we.
therapy you're going to need afterwards.
Oh, well, that, yeah. No, we have, during COVID, we started bringing in donuts and treats for people because we wanted to keep up morale, and then folks decided they wanted to help with that, and so
That's great.
we have been using it for good deeds.
Good. Well, you all are definitely doing a good deed for all of us today.
We're
Hanging
trying.
in there.
I'm afraid I'm gonna break this. Hey, Chelsea?
Yes.
Can you have some scalpel blades on standby, because this is...
Yes. What?
Thank you.
Which one?
15s. 15s? I think 10s will be too,
Sound familiar?
unless you want, you know, I wonder if the bigger, well,
I'll get you some.
thank you, thanks. Because it's just, it's getting really bendy and I think it needs to be.
She's got to get some scalpels out here. Scientists trying to work here.
The governor knows all the scalpel blades. You want to tag in? Yeah.
I'll get you another handle.
Thank you.
So you can tag
Can you just put one of these on a handle for me?
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Thank you. I know you read my mind. I know you read my mind. It's a little scary sometimes.
It's like we work together.
It's almost like we work
teamwork,
together
right?
all the time. It's like, thank you. Yeah, actually, that might actually be a little bit more of a. Oh yeah, we got them all. I love a 15, but this may be the better.
It's the one we use the most.
It is the one we use the most, but this is not what we do the most, so.
This is in fact not.
You're not joking, Chelsea.
Not really. Yeah.
Is this corrosion you're fighting now, or is this?
It's a bit of both.
Everything, I think.
So in every
Yeah.
mortar, there's like the fluid part, and so that's just washed right under there and just created kind of a mega corrosion mortar layer.
Yeah.
And it's essentially like iron corrosion.
I'm so excited to have my arms flapping on national television. You heard me. You heard me. It's every girl's dream.
You are amazing, yeah. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you so much.
Hang in there. It was great and inspiring. Lots of young people out there to all this fun science. And perseverance is
All right,
part
ladies
of
and
this, right?
gentlemen,
It is.
from the news media, as you've heard, this is going to take a good long while,
And we want to do it
potentially,
right.
because we want to do it right and protect whatever's inside. So the governor and the first lady are going to go back and continue working on your behalf. At the office, and we'll come back later. We'll know, the team, as Chelsea and others have explained, they'll know right before they're able to open it up. So we'll take a break. The governor and the first lady will come back, and then we'll open it up.
Relieve some
But
stress.
we don't know when
Thank
that's
you. Much appreciated.
You got this, my friend. You got it.
Sadly,
You got this.
history doesn't work on the clock.
That's right. But we know you're going to get it, and we appreciate
Yeah,
all
we
y'all's
will
work
get
on that.
there.
Yeah, we'll get there. That's for sure.
And the film office is gonna order 15 pizzas.
There we go.
Pizza, definitely, y'all deserve some
If
big
anybody
pizza.
invents time travel, can you go back and ask them to lay off on the mortar? That would be great.
What do you need me to do?
Yeah, you invented time. Oh, okay. So I got some things I need you to do then. No, no. This thing is just so, it's gotten all into there so tough that we can't. We're like, it's just so. And see, I'm trying to avoid that. It doesn't bend. Like,
We're just gonna pop out.
we're trying to cut the corrosion out. So basically, it's slow. This and literally cutting it. Not ideal, but better than using a can opener. So it's in there. Problem is, scalpel blades trying to do this, which is fun. Yeah, that's what we got them for. How are you doing? Yeah, no joke. Yeah, I do not envy you. Not envying you at all. We don't know. I mean, so here we're like, what are we dealing with here? So now it's just super fun. It's just super fun when your glass is super fun. It's just going right through the blades. So that's that one? Oh, the Paleo Tool? It's like a jackhammer, but it's gonna, I mean, it's literally like a jackhammer, so we're not excited about using that, and I think the point isn't gonna get under here, which is a whole different problem. The concern is I'm gonna snap this scalpel blade doing this. Yeah, I don't envy you being on for days and days. Mike was so kind. I loved working with Mike. Your guys in general were so amazing. Well, you too, but I know, well, I like to tell people when people are great, because I don't think bosses hear that enough.
Do more of that.
They were troopers.
They were good guys.
Oh, there we go. Oh my God. It's gonna be fun. Okay, so now we're over here. Oh, are they? Oh, well, that is a you problem. This is a me problem, that's a you problem. I know, it's a process.
Thank you very much.
Yes, yes, exactly.
Thank you.
So you have to get it so it's loose enough that you can get something else in there to pry it up. Because this is not gonna do it. It's not strong enough to pry it up. So.
How you doing? Need anything from me?
Nah, you're good. It's slow.
I can see what other tools I've got.
Yeah, I mean,
It's just finding something that's that fine but strong.
I know. We don't have a chisel or anything like
And
that.
I hear they don't have them either, so.
What good are you guys?
I got a flathead screwdriver.
We got a flathead screwdriver.
I mean, knowing that it's not a precise tool, but why would
Kate, you want to see some
small
paper
flathead
consumer
not?
tools just in case?
Yeah.
Put them on your right side. Got this like Caselli.
That one though.
Yeah, that's not too sure.
Well, let's give it a go and see. My glove broke, so if you hear me say, oh crap, and get new gloves, it's because I don't want to get lead all over my hands. Yeah, I hear lead's not so great for people.
Very sweet. Very sweet.
There's nothing worse than trying to find gloves. Thank you so much. I need to hear that every now and then. It's fun. I'm glad you remembered me from our other adventure. Yeah, I love her. I love her. She's amazing. Yep. You had questions? It turns out we were right to have questions. Let's try to give it up for you, my glove. Barbara, our front desk lady, is out there giving me the thumbs up.
Oh,
I think it's okay. It's just that I think I'm just gonna have to do damage. I just don't think. I think we tried everything that's gonna be safer. Yeah. Just kinda- Little, very, very little.
So they gave me last night, Julia, and we didn't even allow ours and ours are really strong.
Trying to break up that corrosion. Hey Devon, if you hear you found something else out there today, can you just ignore it till tomorrow?
Just move the work to the other side. Especially if it's copper. Because this is supposed to be the easy gonna be your buddy.
Yeah, how are you? You know, is that it? I saw you out there with
You need 2 of a 10? Do I need what, sorry, 2 10s going? What do you mean, do I need 2 10s? Oh, I s- 2 separate handles, so you've got some. Do you have some, oh, these are 15s. Can you put a new 15 on that one? Yeah. The scalpel, not the box. That's just insane. It's sad when it's destroying stuff. Right? You don't expect it to be the scalpel. No, that doesn't make sense. Oh, the mortar is just killing me here.
Is this the most stubborn project you all have had to deal with in a while?
We deal with stubborn projects all the time. We just don't typically deal with stubborn projects with all these eyes.
Yeah, normally we can just be kind of.
Normally we can take our time and, you know, if something is really a problem, we can set it aside for a different day. We don't have that luxury today, so.
Right.
Not even a little bit. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for putting up with it.
I'm taking a break from that because I'm finding it a little frustrating. Because the whole thing is a little frustrating at this point. I need.
We always say though that it's not conservation if the day ends up like you expected it to. If
Yeah.
by 9 o'clock your day hasn't turned into something else, it's not conservation. No, because they weren't in as good a condition. So this is a problem because it's actually in fairly good condition.
Yeah, if it was in worse condition, that would have actually really
Yeah.
worked out better.
So the other time capsules that came open without a problem at all was because the metal was so deteriorated that it just wanted to come open. But this is actually really well preserved. So it's good and it's bad. But here we are.
Here we are. Man, it is really.
You got a charger. Yeah, we can use that one.
I'm like popping pieces of mortar out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Man, I'm open to ideas, guys. Because yeah, jackhammer is really off the list. That was yesterday's project.
Can you describe the preliminary work that happened before, before today and up for a thing?
How far back you want me to go?
As long back as you'd like.
So on Friday, Devon and his group found something underneath a block of stone and thought it was unusual, and that was this. We had their crew removed it with Department of General Services folks and got it onto a forklift and drove it down here in the 1,500-pound block of granite. Yesterday, B.R. Howard and Associates from Pennsylvania, who work for Department of General Services, did a very good job of getting it out of the 1,500-pound block of granite, which was a process. It took about 3.5 hours. And they were really as gentle as you can be trying to get something out of a piece of granite. And then we are now here. So last night when we got it into the lab, it was really cold outside where we were doing this work. And that work meant, the temperature meant we brought it up to temperature in a blanket because we didn't want it to do anything we weren't expecting.
Condensation or
Thank
anything
you.
like that. So we were really concerned about
it's actually that's
shocking
gonna end
the
up
box
being
or the materials in the box. So keep in mind these have been in stone for over 100 years, and any changes, climate, humidity, whatever, that happen at the center of that pedestal is going to happen so slowly that this box and the materials in it are not used to any rapid changes. And so for preservation reasons, we definitely wanted to bring it to our climate and bring it to our humidity and temperature slowly so that we could avoid things like condensation. Keep in mind metal boxes and glass and anything like that really attract condensation. So we wanted to avoid that so that we could do the best we could for the box and the material inside of it.
Hey, Sue.
So then after that, we
Remind me,
did
I owe
a
you a new
condition
one of these.
assessment, and we always
So
do a
actually
treatment
what's happening
proposal.
is it looks like I'm breaking it up.
Kate and I are trained in this,
And
but
this is
we
just not moving,
never
so I mean,
ever
that's
assume that we can just move forward with any object, even
I just
objects
wanna
that
know
the
if conservators
DHR
might
owns.
also
We
like
never
this.
move forward without a treatment proposal.
Okay, you send me a link
We
to
always
one of these
have
suckers and I'll get you a
a
new one.
set of eyes
I
that
don't
is
think
not
you're
in the
gonna want this
conservation
one.
lab,
No worries,
read
at all.
that proposal and approve that proposal. So we had our treatment proposal written and approved. We did photography, so part of the conservation process is definitely documenting it. We don't need to document the during because you guys have that taken care of, but we definitely wanted to get all of our before photos taken, measurements, all of that done ahead of time before we ever even approached touching the box. So we also x-rayed it. We know that lead does not allow x-rays through, but we still wanted to do that just in case. It was possible that the lead might be thin enough that we could actually get through it and get some information off of it. In fact, we just confirmed that it is lead. So, and that it's thick enough that we couldn't actually get any x-rays through it, but that's part of the process. We confirmed prior to x-raying, we had done XRF, which is a way that we can test for basically elements. So we can do metals tests and identify what metals are in it. So we did XRF, then we x-rayed it, photographed it, and here we are, getting it open
I just
now.
want to start getting it out of the way because it looks like.
How does this compare to other kind of, I mean, are there similar objects that you've worked on, like, kind of, in terms of the novelty of this artifact, like how does that kind of match up?
I mean, we work with historic items and important items every day. As far as that goes, this isn't actually anything different than what we're doing. It's actually fairly young. We tend to work on older things than this. But, you know, our job is to be able to do it all. So here we are. The novelty, it's definitely novel. The fact that you guys are all here attests to that fact. But yeah, it's pretty normal for us.
So you've never worked on anything that's gotten this much outside attention?
I would say I've never worked with this many reporters watching me. Now, Kate might have a different answer, but I personally am not.
I mean, I've been doing this almost 25 years. I've worked on many, many, many things. As for media attention for artifacts, this is probably the most media attention for an artifact that I've worked with, where it's the conservation that's the focus, and the preservation aspects that are the focus. Although I know you guys are really interested in what's inside, I guess. But we appreciate your patience because this is just not a, I think you're getting a sense of what our everyday job is. So if anyone was thinking of being a conservator when they grow up, it does take patience.
Yep.
Hey Chelsea, you wanna come and look at this real quick? So in fact, what has happened is that this separated here.
All right.
So I'm getting that off,
Okay.
just so you,
Yeah.
can see it. But I
You
think
need to
that's
drag
how
out,
it's
you
gonna
good?
be. No, I'm good, but I think that's how it's gonna end up being.
You're doing the more labor-intensive part.
Yeah, I do. I think that the problem is these parts that are so accreted down
Yeah.
I'm just gonna end up doing that.
I think you will. But that's why I left you to do it.
No, that's why I get paid the medium-sized ones.
Yep.
Yeah, I think this is, so basically at this point, I am using, this is not a chisel. Sue knows the proper name of this implement, because this is a paper conservator implement. And while I recognize that I am doing damage, it's just the way it has to be. We're trying to do this as delicately as we can, but we knew that because it's sealed, we were gonna be doing some damage to unseal it. So what I just did was sweep up a bunch of the sort of detritus that we had been creating, so it doesn't just dump into the box if this lid decides to do something unexpected. So now is the long, slow process. The whole thing is a long, slow process. If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask Chelsea.
Do either of you have a career highlight for something, the most exciting thing you've worked on?
That is the most frequently asked
Yep.
question, and every conservator will basically just tell you whatever they're working on now.
Everything we do is cool.
Everything we do is cool. We've worked on so many things, and you kind of go through phases, honestly. So you work on one thing and it's the coolest thing, and then you move on to the next thing and it's the coolest thing. So.
I don't know if you can see, but we're sort of starting. I'm just going to show you guys that because I know you guys will be excited about that sort of thing.
Is today your birthday?
I meant to erase that.
It's half the year it's her birthday and half the year it's my birthday.
We that's been up there for a little while, and we just keep forgetting to erase.
Yeah, that's.
Maybe get some more gifts.
Well, that's true.
Right?
It's her birthday. You should give her presents.
Or some cake or something.
Yeah,
out of it.
well, we owe you.
We accept cake.
We do.
Could you talk about paper and things like that? You were talking about, there might be paper inside, and like, what are common issues that you might come across when there's, paper in something like this, or what kind of materials would you maybe expect to find and that sort of thing?
So we can only go by the list that we have, and especially by the time period that it was compiled. So that would have been early 19th century paper, which was most likely made with lignin, so wood pulp paper. That can end up being very, very acidic. So you combine that in a microenvironment where the acidity has nowhere to go, it just keeps damaging the paper essentially. So one thing we're going to be aware of is whether the paper that's coming out of the box is going to be extremely brittle. We have ways of stabilizing that, but there's not a lot to be done to make it better essentially, because it's just been so swimming in its own acidic soup. That's a phrase Kate used at one point, and I've kept employing it. So that would be what I would be looking out for if we do have paper in this box, is essentially very, very brittle paper that might come out of it. There might be books in there. That a book was on the list that could have been leather bound, could have been cloth bound. So we just sort of have to really be flexible at this point.
What about like how paper might have been, pens or ink or something like that? How does that work in that kind of environment here?
I think most of the items we had were printed. I don't recall a lot of manuscripts on the list. I might be wrong, but if it had been manuscripts, we could see some ink drop out.
where the ink would have sort of eaten through the paper. That can happen quite frequently, but I wouldn't expect that for this particular situation.
What about like the coins? Are those likely to survive?
I would say that the coins would, yes, that there would be a good chance for that to happen. I helped with the Albemarle County time capsule, and the metallic objects were the ones that fared the best, as well as textiles in an aesthetic environment, as opposed to the paper. So, but Chelsea can probably...
They'll be there. In what condition they're going to be there, we're not sure. Keep in mind, we're an archaeological lab, so we're used to this. So we may not today find recognizable metals, but with treatment, we're going to be able to treat them. And often what you do get in these acidic environments, you get, especially if moisture is present, you're going to get a lot of corrosion. Some of it can be very bulky and can completely obscure surfaces, but we have the tools and techniques to be able to reduce that and actually be able to then have a displayable artifact, assuming it's not completely gone.
So if textiles are good, does that mean the flag could be something that would survive?
It's possible, depending on the type of textile.
Yeah.
Silk in an acidic environment can sometimes do okay. We just don't know.
It really, because textiles can be made of so many different things, it's going to completely depend upon what it's made of and how it was processed.
And Chelsea's been dealing with textiles that have been completely submerged, and
No, it's fine.
so she's got experience with that too.
I have been.
No,
They,
I recognize them.
They were from a
Everybody's excited. I
shipwreck
want people to be
environment, so
excited.
thankfully this does not seem as though it's going to be at all the same environment.
You mentioned this isn't old compared to the things you work on. What is old?
I've worked on Mesolithic material, so
How's that?
thousands of years. So you know, in Virginia, we're used to working on a lot of colonial material in this lab. But Kate and I both have experience working on Roman and Greek and Viking, and you know, so when it comes to old, Virginia's not super old.
Oh, poor Virginia.
Poor Virginia.
Could you talk
Virginia, there is a Santa Claus.
Could you talk a little bit about the potential photograph? Is there anything that they may have done at that time that could have given it a little life today once we open this thing?
You mean something that would have made the photograph last a little longer than
Yes.
the paper? I think one thing that could be really beneficial for the photograph is that it would have been printed on or developed on a better quality paper than paper of newspapers or books were printed at that era. So I think we've got the combination of the printout paper that they would have developed it upon would have been had less lignin in it, so less wood. So that's a good thing that perhaps that photograph could last. It's also possible it was a postcard photograph, we don't know, and that would have been a thicker paper, also probably a little better quality than the more ephemeral newspapers.
Were there plastics back then? Maybe wrapping? No?
No,
Before the plastic
although one way that they had back then of preserving, protecting photographs would have been glass. So it could be possible that there's some kind of glass protection over the surface. We're just not sure.
Yeah.
You know, perhaps if they thought it was as important then as we do now, they would have put it in a case or that was protected by glass.
What time did you say you started this morning?
About 10. We started, working on this. We thought 2 hours was definitely going to be enough.
Making good progress, though, Kate.
Sorry?
You're making good progress.
I am. Thank you. Let me know if you get to a point where you need any of it supported.
And I want to point out that this is not really it's not a struggle, like we're not struggling to get it open, we're just trying to do it in a way that is respectful to the artifact itself.
Thank you for saying that, yeah, because it does look. For people who are not used to seeing this.
Right.
Which I think is most people in the room and outside the room.
Oh, you didn't get it? Do you think, Kate, they might put some lead around that thing to like solder it closed?
It doesn't actually appear to be the case, although I'll have a better sense of that once we're done and I can get this under the microscope. Right now, it really seems like it's just very old with a lot of corrosion and mortar, which the mortar was a little unexpected.
Yeah, so mortar's not just the bit that has sand in it, so it's gonna have the liquid parts that very likely went underneath that seal and reacted with the lead. And so that's why we're having such a hard time getting this open right now. Let me know if you need to tap out.
No, I don't need to tap out, I need to complain.
Well, we're here.
I know.
There's a few years.
We're here to record it.
Oh, I'm so excited that everyone is here to record this. I love you all, but I really love just watching TV instead of being on it. It's much more my speed. Okay, so we are, I mean, I think you guys can see we're making progress at this point. Close? Hi, everyone. Behind me that I didn't realize was there.
Yeah, the crowd.
No, you're fine.
Oh no, where your peeps back here support you?
I feel like everybody today is my peeps.
Go, Kate.
Go, okay. Go, okay.
And my team. It is not just me. Chelsea, Sue, everybody.
Oh, we cheer everybody.
Equal opportunity cheerers. I appreciate that.
Just I just have to see you a lot more. I know you. That's all
I
right.
know. We keep running into each other.
You're running into one.
Yeah, well, you tell us.
People
No,
are
no, no, like when we get
getting
to
bored out there. That's just what I wanted.
Gonna be welcome. But otherwise we're fine.
Everyone to relax, and then it's like, ha just kidding. Oh my God. There's nothing worse than trying to put on gloves when your hands are all
So there's this really cool site.
sweaty. It's like 1,000 degrees. Okay.
That is
Okay.
elemental in nature, so I actually worked on some work that they were using. Yes.
No, I'm just wondering if I should put blue tape on this to help with the glove issue.
I don't think it's gonna affect anything.
No, Chelsea.
You could try it.
No, you're fine.
I think there was talk of doing that, and so we're trying to just power through until we get to a pausing point, and then we'll pause. But I think somebody's already done that.
Somebody has done what?
Used to this. We do this all the time.
Oh yeah. You mean power through lunch?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the norm. Come on, corner.
You're adorable enough.
Trying to snug it up as close to where the lid is as possible.
We don't often wish for poor preservation, but
In this case,
a little bit would have helped.
oh, just a skosh would have been great.
How much is this box weigh?
Have I broken
So we didn't actually weigh it. We could have.
We could.
I think it's probably between 10 and 20 pounds. It's not light.
It's definitely not light. I think the consensus is 10-ish pounds.
Ooh, we got movement.
We have movement! Ah. Ooh, don't get excited, dudes.
Treasure.
This is still gonna be a while. The
Can't make any noises, Kate.
I can't make noises?
Yeah.
Because we get excited.
Yeah.
No, oh, I made a noise grab. I mean, there's definitely movement here. You can see that is.
Yeah, we all get excited.
Jimmy hold his head.
Don't be
Or so does Jimmy Hoffa.
Oh, yeah,
If we're gonna make history jokes, let's make history jokes.
We got the Capone,
We got the Capone, yeah, we made the Capone joke already.
You think it's about time to break out your fake time capsule box? So everybody-
That's, that is not me, I'm not doing that on TV. I do think it's fun though.
Yeah, it is.
I'm trying to find the right angle. Thanks, you're really helpful.
Hey, they ordered pizza. Yeah.
That was very nice of them. I told them I probably wouldn't be eating anything.
I did not give them anybody.
If we don't need pizza vomit in the box, then.
No. Oh, no, no, that's
I don't like that.
No. One of those is much older than
Oh man, that mortar is everywhere.
Yeah, I figured that.
You want to trade stuff? Okay, let's talk about how the Confederates didn't do this. Let's start there. Hey, Chelsea?
What?
Can you come here for a second? Endoscope?
Open it up a bit more, yeah, where is it?
It's under there.
Where?
You know, that's a really good question. I think it's in the box there on the right, or above it. There should be in a bag.
right in Oreos.
We don't have enough Oreos for everyone.
Oreos?
Oh, man.
Everyone starts salivating. Sorry.
Well, we know who just promised Oreos to everybody.
Oreos I can get.
Do you found it? Okay.
I got you.
Do you want to tag in while I try and set that up?
Yep.
I don't know if we'll get it to work, but.
My phone in my pocket. It's not my phone in my pocket.
No, you're mic'd. Okay, so Chelsea's tagging in because this is difficult, and we might have a big enough, if we can get this device to work, we might have a big enough hole to endoscope.
Kate, where do you want, did you already tell them where you want to put the pizza?
What?
Leslie can tell you.
Yeah, I'm really not in charge of pizza right now.
I don't know where she went, but Leslie can definitely tell you. Well, at least the inside of this thing looks well preserved.
I am ignoring everyone. So.
Where would the imagery from the Endoscope? Is it a blue light like a
Oh, it's
camera?
gonna be on her phone.
Yeah, it'll be on my phone if we can get it to work.
You'll have to make friends with her.
Who's making friends with me?
You're about to be the most popular person in the room since you're the only
I
one
know.
with that image.
I just want-
Jen
I just
goes a
wanna
long
film-
way.
Film over your shoulder.
I will make it as available as I can after I get a look and all the experts in the room get a look. Ah, there we go. We needed power.
I'm glad we can see the metal now too.
The metal looks well preserved, which is a good sign. We've got maybe some salt, but can't really tell. Kate, I'm just going to continue down this scene.
Yep, you know what you're doing. Oh my god, everyone has all their
Did it get unplugged at some point?
Our Wi-Fi?
Yes.
I don't know what's going on with that.
Yeah, and I'm gonna open it a bit.
Yeah, can you do that? We need it, that, open?
Yeah, we got that.
I think we do have that. So what we're doing right now is setting up an endoscope, which has a feed to my phone. We don't know what we're gonna see. Hopefully it'll be enough to give us a sense of what's inside. I'll try and make as much access as possible, but the experts have to see first.
This is the most preparation time Sue's gonna get.
Yeah, do you wanna come over here, Sue, because you're the one who really, you need it more than anybody else in the
I don't want to
room.
get you again, Carson. Or,
Man.
I was gonna say.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, you wanna hold that up to you, because. No, you're fine.
That should be enough?
Yeah, oh, that's funny.
Don't go any further. We've got condensation, so we've definitely got moisture in there.
See the moisture in there.
We've got.
We can take a picture of any of this we want.
Just tell me when to hold it still. It's definitely have moisture.
You definitely have moisture. You can go that way. We can get up that. Stop. That's the phone there, but I know that's just corrosion. Okay, anything else you can see in there?
Oh.
Oh, yes,
stop.
stop.
Huh.
Yeah,
I can't tell if is that the moisture that's making the.
Well, we probably won't know if we get inside, but you can see this. So, okay, keep going.
We've got so much moisture on this.
Okay, well, I mean, we kind of expected that.
Can you try to see the other side? Yeah.
Okay.
You can see the solder.
Yeah, you can sort of
So there you go, that answers that. It was soldered.
Can you pull back?
Yeah, and down. Yep.
Oh, yeah, you can see that at the bottom. Okay, pull back a little.
But we're
Oh,
out.
stop. Sorry, I'm just like, well, that's what it is.
Okay.
Let me see if I can show you guys pictures.
Sneak peek.
No, we gotta get this lid off. Actually, I should
Feel free to take a
ask.
break if you need to have some lunch before you're basically on.
Yeah, we can get this.
Because that definitely looks like it's going to be a fair bit of you.
What are you guys thinking it is that you saw? Or that seems like something's about to, there's a time.
It seems more paper-based than anything else.
Yeah. We definitely saw paper and we definitely saw some textile, and that's all we can see from this little hole. We definitely have moisture in there, so that's not the best case scenario. So we have to plan to deal with that.
Does time play a factor now that it's been open?
Yes, absolutely. So without humidity or oxygen, the decay process basically doesn't go on. And we're opening this, which just means we're introducing a lot of oxygen, and we know there's humidity in there. So yeah, we definitely want to do this and get it done with quickly. You want to take over, Kate?
Yeah, I can take over. Can you get Sue some paper towels?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you. Who's laughing at me? Laughing at me? Is that you?
I'm just overjoyed.
Oh, good. I'm glad you're overjoyed. That's what I like to hear. History is super fun. As long as you're not on TV.
Not to crack the drum in here, but I'm gonna save one of these pizzas out here for you guys, because y'all are really keeping it, otherwise it's gonna go in.
Yeah, I mean, you have one job and it's pizza.
Exactly. Now, should I bring it in here?
No food in here.
I mean, not to eat, but just to keep
No, we have lead. We don't
Okay.
want any food. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, hide it somewhere from all these folks who want my pizza.
Excuse me, did he say pizza for the journalist?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Pizza
You know, and my hearing is not so great, so you might have to ask him.
Pizza for the journalist is in this other room here.
It's in this other room with a lock on it.
And the crew, yeah.
Could you talk a little bit about the patience that you have in this line of work? I don't know if you've been at this yet.
Oh, all the time.
It seems like it's meticulous.
It is definitely meticulous. You have to have hand skills and patience, and it takes a lot to become a conservator. You have to take chemistry. You have to take art history. You have to go get your master's degree in it, and so it's just it's not the easiest thing to get into. But we have fun jobs, so if you can find us, you should definitely talk to us. And we really just don't know what our day's going to be. But yeah, so you also, there's odd things like being colorblind is a problem. You have to have a, depth perception and stuff like that. So the job is not your normal job.
Hey, where are the photos on the screen? No, just tell me. I can do it. I just don't know how to work your phone.
Yes.
So, yeah, I guess you're going to touch it.
It's fine. I'm going to clean this afterwards.
This is the difference between an iPhone person and a not iPhone person.
So is the concern now air damage?
So our concern is any kind of environmental. So part of the concern is that there's going to be a definite atmosphere change between this and what's going on in here. And it also, there's likely some kind of water, if it's from condensation or from it getting into the time capsule because of the weather and just things going on at the monument over time. So having that water in there is a possibility, and we're worried about that just because water is pretty damaging, especially to sort of the paper objects that we're expecting. So, yeah, we have concerns. Did I answer your question? Sorry, I got a little...
Yeah, and how quickly can that damage things now that you've let some air in there?
It really depends on the type of artifacts we're looking and the material there are, and we just won't know until we get in there. It can be pretty quick though, because atmosphere changes are a big drastic change for artifacts, and that drastic kind of change is really problematic when you're dealing with historic artifacts.
Does the atmosphere change the water that's in there or anything like that?
I mean, if we're getting condensation, and so, this was out in the freezing cold last night, we wrapped it in a blanket and tried to bring it up to room temperature slowly to prevent condensation, but now we're in a room full of people and the AC system isn't used to it, and so it's much warmer in here even than yesterday. So it's just sort of, it is what it is. Yeah. But we're not going to speed up trying to open this because of that. Almost the slower we do this, it allows that temperature and climate in there to change more slowly, which is actually what our kind of goal is, if we can achieve that. I mean, if you guys weren't here, we probably would have done this and then stopped and let it sort of acclimatize, but that's just not in the cards today.
Have you ever seen a box like this before?
Have I seen a box like this before?
Yes.
I gotta say, almost always when I'm working with an object, it's the only one like that I've seen before.
Okay.
So me, for this is not something I'm normally dealing with.
Sure.
But lead and lead artifacts, that's normal for us. But on any given day, I'm working on an artifact that I've not necessarily seen before, so.
Gotcha.
That's just sort of the nature of the job.
Yeah.
You're going to be sending these photos to somebody? I don't know who yet. If you want to try to go out, just let me know.
Oh, do you need me to tag out now for that? I don't know who's around me. You wanna?
Yeah, I've got some of the large right there. I've got two large.
These are the ones you took?
Yeah. Do you need me to send them to you?
I just popped in here. Would you mind explaining the camera again and what you just did there?
So this is actually an endoscope. So what it is, it's a little camera on the end of a wire, and you can see it's lit. And so that goes sends a picture to my phone and allows me to look in there, allows us to look in there, and also for me to photograph what we're seeing, so that we can see things before y'all.
I'm declining a call on your phone.
Please decline every phone call I have.
And from the photograph, you can gather that there seem to be paper objects in there?
From what we're seeing, I'm waiting to hear from folks. Is it fine? Okay. So from what we're seeing, we're definitely seeing something that appears to be a book or a few books. They definitely have water droplets on them, which is not something we're very excited about. So we're trying to make sure, so my goal right now is also to make sure as little of this lead gets inside the box as possible. So I keep brushing it away and stopping. We also wanted, when we did that, we also wanted to get a sense of how close the materials inside are to where we're working. So if everything is packed jam full, it gives us a sense of exactly how much room we have to work on this and get it open. And from what we're seeing, we have a fair amount of wiggle room up here where there do not appear to be artifacts, except maybe in one of the corners looks a little like the artifacts get a little close.
So as for, like, I think they said 37 objects are potentially placed in the box, I mean, does it look like that's a possibility, or just books?
I think that from the inventory that we've seen, the historic inventory we've seen, the size of this box, it seems unlikely with the artifacts we know are supposed to be that they would have all fit if this is that container.
Is the top of the box lead too?
Yes, all of this box is lead. And some of this, what you're seeing is mortar that's still on the surface. We're trying to preserve as much as we can because we know whoever is going to end up, wherever this ends up on display and things like that, and for historic research, we want to make sure we're preserving as much as possible for them so we can have a conversation with the next folks who are going to be working on this. So our goal today is stabilization and making sure that we can have everything survive as well as possible for the next person. And so y'all folks can watch stuff.
What's the name of the file that you're using?
That's Sue.
I think
It's named Sue.
It's a Caselli microspatula with a chisel tip. So it's I think it's it looks like the back of her. It's not stainless steel,
It's
but it's
something, yeah.
Thank you.
Do you see? That's what they want to hear.
Huh, yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
For everyone, the soundbite is, huh.
If you could gasp every
If you could gasp.
He gasps.
It is Jimmy Hoffa's head.
Gadzooks.
I tend to deal with stress with comedy, in case anybody missed that part.
So once again, you don't have to get to a certain point, I mean, you have to stop and call the officials.
I
Opening the lid.
I am really not in charge of that, but I suspect that is the case. I bet Stephanie or Julia's in here who can answer that question. Is that the case, Stephanie?
What'd you say?
Yes, that is the
Could-
case.
Okay, yeah, there we go. That's the case. I suspected it was the case.
You need tap now?
Yeah, I do. Thank you.
That's what we're here for.
I know. You're the best.
I know. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God.
Sue, I want one of these.
So
I have tool envy.
I will find where we got them.
you got there in the end.
Fill out the form, people.
Oh. Place it open.
Yeah, at least that's not like.
Thank you. If anybody's wondering how hard it is, I have a huge blister on my finger from doing this that I am now going to be taking care of that.
But remember, lead's the easy metal.
Let's, yeah. The problem is we're balancing, trying to use strength, but also control, and it ends up doing this to you.
All right, I'm about to use this loud tool again, though.
Yep. Does anyone have any questions while I'm recuperating my hand? You guys are all good? Okay. Where did my phone go?
So how clear of images were you able to get on the phone?
Are we allowed to?
Yeah, I think that right now the governor's office is in the process of releasing the photos. Grant's not in here, so I'm not exactly sure. I think it's gonna, I don't know if it's gonna be on his Twitter feed or.
They're clear enough for us to be able to make some educated guesses at this point. We're definitely seeing water droplets, which is not ideal. It also
Paper
looks
towel.
as though we have, sorry?
Paper towels, please.
It also looks as though we have some paper artifacts. It looks likely to be books, from what we can see. We're not getting the greatest view, but that is the appearance at this moment.
I was just trying to feed it under there just to get some of that condensation. I think
You see Julie's?
I'll keep that in mind. Okay, yeah, thank you.
I'm gonna go ahead and take this out of the way. There, get it out of the way. You know, glasses help as you get old.
3 seconds ago.
You getting the images?
Yeah, time capsule update from the governor.
If you have questions about the images, I'm more than happy to answer them.
So it looks like a book.
Did they just send it out?
It
Yeah,
almost,
30 seconds ago.
it's almost like it looks like a book.
Oh, on Twitter.
Looking at this, there's just so many things it could be. So many options of what it just is not any of these.
So what we're doing is we have the inventory that was published in the historic papers, and we're just discussing what we saw from the endoscope compared to the inventory of things that we expect from the container, if it is what we think it might be. I apologize for any damage to this tool.
Yeah.
It's hers now.
I think that's very reasonable. Okay.
That's the Casella.
No, I think we'll be okay. Yeah. I'll use a different phone.
Yeah, pretty good at
Those are all in inches. I got centimeters. Just don't bump her, please. Because then, yeah, that'll be a problem. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good.
Good, thank you. So thank you.
Oh, yeah, no worries.
Is it wet there, or are you just trying to make sure stuff doesn't fall down into the?
No, it's wet. There's, the whole roof of this thing is just condensation.
We tried, yeah. So it looks like just because it went from, so on Friday it was like in the 70s, it had the sun beating down on it, it was in a big block of granite. It came into this room, which is air conditioned, and so there was only so much we could do to control the temperature at that point. And then it went outside yesterday where it was in the 30s, and so all these temperature changes have not been what we hoped for, and it looks like we have had some condensation form inside the box. It is what it is. It was I mean, it's fairly expected to see that sort of thing. It's just we were hoping we wouldn't, but there you go.
So had they sealed it better, maybe there wouldn't have been
No,
any?
it really, I don't think it has any, they had sealed it fine. There's definitely a crack on the bottom, so there's definitely already some air getting in, so it's possible humidity has been getting in there, you know, and so we tried to control it as much as we could,
I'm
and
worried that it's gonna
this
start,
is, yeah.
it's gonna continue falling. So I can definitely get that in there.
So we're trying to keep things from falling in, is that the?
So there's so much condensation on the roof of the box that the more I work, the more is gonna drip down. So I'm basically trying to make sure that if it does drip down, it's gonna drip down to one of our blotting materials, which can absorb it and keep the contents from having to absorb it. So, yeah, let's try that. Yeah, thank you.
What you need? Oh, you were looking around, I think.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do any more until I get the blotting paper under there, because I don't wanna cause any more to drip.
So, she's cutting it now?
She's cutting it now?
Yeah, perfect.
Then we'll just continue on.
Okay.
I gave an estimate of 4.
Yes, I think that, yeah, we discussed it. I think that's, it's within reason, and we'll just stop if we finish earlier.
I figured if we finish earlier, everybody gets to take a break for lunch.
Sure. Tom is working on the air conditioning.
Let me know.
Oh, 2 hours.
I think that should be fine.
Another pair of pants.
I will let you know. Or, yeah, gloves are there if you need, well, they're medium.
No, I mean, it is, and so, yeah.
I think we probably should do this in 2 pieces.
Okay, got it down.
Yeah. It's just
Lengthways or
that way.
hamburger?
Whatever that way is.
So right now I'm texting with Gretchen Godess at the Colonial Williamsburg. She's a textile person, so I'm getting her back up to speed.
Okay, well, that is done. And we'll continue on.
Are you able to get any sort of odor or anything through your mask?
I don't want to. No, so we're working with lead. Lead is a heavy metal, so we're always very careful when working with heavy metals. Everybody's heard the tales of the Romans and lead and all of that. So as bad as these masks smell on their own, I'm very glad that I don't get other smells through it.
I cannot deal with comments right now. I have so many, I bet it's funny.
Hey, we got 2 sides.
2 sides down, 2 to go.
Halfway there, guys.
Let me know if you need to tag out.
I'm good so far. Cool. Thank you.
You are welcome. So you can have whatever's here. Holly, you can have, if you need it. And I can get you some, there's, the, silicone milers in there, come and grab it. That'll be right there. If we need it. Okay, let me know if you need anything else. Yes. Thank you so much. I'm sorry. Oh, but thank you. It was a good thought. So, we have a lot of projects going on, so that is actually from our Kids project, which is from Regional Planting. And so we have gotten money to work on, preservation of those sites. So, that is a cool.
That's money.
I think that's money.
I mean,
Nice try.
that's
It is money, it's not spendable money at this point. It looks not like, so this is the beginning of our job. By the end of the job, it might look like something.
That right there is about 40 hours of work already done.
Yeah, just to give you a sense.
That was not a All right, Kate, you want to tap me out now?
Yep.
How's your finger?
It is, I mean, it's,
You're used to that.
I am. Things we're getting used to. The stalwart few who are willing to go through the entire process. Thank you for staying. Keep going. So there's all the blotter. Okay.
You good?
Yep. I just wanted to get a sense of where the blotter was.
Yeah, you've got 3 pieces under there.
Okay. Okay. So have you looked at this lately?
Sue?
Yeah, Sue.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want to take another piece? You don't have to. You can continue prepping. Okay.
She says she's good.
Okay, good. As long as she's good, I'm good.
From what you have open so far, does it seem pretty likely to be books? Anything new?
Right now, from what we're seeing, it definitely looks like books, and it definitely looks like they have been exposed to some kind of liquid, probably water. I don't know how good your guys' cameras are, but you can probably already see it a little bit. There, that worked. Okay. Great. Yeah, you don't want to cough while you're doing this. Shockingly, my mouth is dry. This is our third and not final side.
Don't jump ahead.
I know math is hard. I don't know. No, we're working on the third side. Wishful thinking is definitely what that was. No, it's third. So we still have this side to go, and we're working on this side. But you can, I mean, I'll be. So is this how you guys expected to end your year?
Not over yet.
Well, okay, okay, you know what? That's fair. That is so fair.
Right.
Goodness gracious. But seriously, Devon, get on that time capsule. Or the time machine. Go back and tell them to make this a little easier. So I'm just continuing to break up corrosion. Almost hear it cracking.
Just so you guys, so when we do have the governor back, if we could just have everybody on the other side, but for now, if you want to just make sure, just be very careful if you're around the equipment. And then also on the other side, you might see some lenses, some equipment that just please stay off of it. It is very important and very critical to their work. So just if you could be cautious of that, that'd be helpful as well. Thanks.
Let me know if you need any vibro action.
Really?
Some of the areas were so bad.
Actually, I think for right now, I'm good. So again, I'm just getting rid of debris so it doesn't just fall into this.
So is there any historical record of there possibly being a different box inside the pedestal, or would this be totally new to historians?
I am not a historian, so all I can say is I am unaware of anything other than the original copper box that that we were expecting. So that would be a question for Richmond history folks, like the Valentine. little. Nope, we got it. I got it.
I didn't eat it either. Gotta eat when you gotta eat something.
We had sound effects afterwards. Oh yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, there we go. Oh, that's it. Just want to make it sound like this is as much effort as it is actually. Talking to me? What? That's the right thing to say. That everybody knows how hard this is.
Yeah, in my bag.
The most first world phrase ever said. Do you have a charger?
There's one of the battery pack chargers sitting on the laptop. Battery pack.
Hey, Stephanie or somebody, can I just talk to you for a sec? Just so, I don't know who, but just so when this lid comes off, the first thing that's going to be seen is this bladder paper, and that is not historic. It needs to come off. So just make sure whoever needs to be aware of that is aware of that. Oh my God, it's a bright piece of paper.
What's a paper towel?
Right. Yeah. So just I don't know who. Oh my God! I was like, you should carbonate it. But you know what I mean. I just want to make sure that the expectations are that it's underneath that. What is actually in the back. Thank you.
Well, our expectations have already been exceeded.
Hey Kate, is the governor on his way?
That is not a question for me. I am just this lead box right now.
Yes. Julie just told me 4 o'clock.
I think 4 o'clock is when we have him scheduled to come back over. 4 o'clock. So we're gonna pause as soon as we kind of get to a good place before they pop it up, and we'll reconvene at 4 o'clock.
Okay. That sounds like a plan.
Some water, some substance.
Okay, 3 sides down. Did you have to say it was a long?
Kate, I think you're earning yourself a Christmas holiday.
I earned my Christmas holiday. Is that what you just said?
So just pressure seal?
Sorry?
Pressure seal? Together?
So basically what it is that it appears that the lid was placed on and then there was lead rolled over it to hold it in place. And then mortar got in there and lead corrosion, and so it's becoming a little more difficult than it would have been to get on. So, but not anything like like what we would consider a modern pressure seal or anything like that.
Yeah.
And so I don't know who's been in and out of the room. You might see some white paper on the inside of here. We put blotting paper in there to protect anything inside from water that we were seeing. We were seeing condensation because of the environmental changes that the container has been through. And so to protect the artifacts, we put the blotter paper in there. Any other questions?
Are we pretty sure this is not the time capsule?
Oh, that is definitely not a question I'm answering right now.
We don't know until
Well, you don't want to ruin the surprise.
You're right.
It's Christmas.
How do you believe it was closed off? You said the lid was placed and then lead.
So it appears that the lid was placed on top and then the lead was rolled around the top to hold the lid on. We haven't had a chance to look at it. In the endoscope pictures we took, it maybe looks like there was also some solder inside, but we can't quite confirm that until we lay eyes on it. And solder would also probably be lead-based, so it's all just a bunch of lead. So you can kind of see how soft it is. The whole box is starting to move because we're started to make it a little unstable with this
You need extra hands?
side moving. Can you just come closer so we can just?
I glove
can't.
up for you.
Can you glove up for me? Thanks. That would be great. I'm so focused on this.
I know.
I can feel
That's why I
this.
asked, yeah.
So yeah, thank you.
Sorry if I block anybody, but that's gonna happen.
Yeah, that's not really. Should you?
Can we get some like offcuts of blotter paper just to wedge under there if we need?
Yeah.
I'm thinking we can support corners with it.
Yeah, we might just start doing that now, yeah. So basically we don't want the whole lid to just fall in. Lead is heavy and we don't know exactly what we're dealing with. So we're trying to make sure, again, we're doing this as safely as possible for everything and everyone.
So as you keep working on it from this side, I'm gonna go to that side and support that side.
Absolutely, yeah.
Good.
Because I'm gonna hold that like that, but I
Well,
can
and I
see
can
the
do
whole
that
thing
from
sort
here.
of twisting.
I can do this and hold these while you can, yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Teamwork.
Makes the dream work. Although that is made the process one. I think I actually need to try it a little bit. And I really actually think I have to hold it here.
Okay.
Just, yeah, I need to do that.
Well, then I can cut this
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
down
you
with
can-
the
you can
scalpel,
go.
so, yeah, this is perfect, thank you.
Oh, actually this angle is making it more stable, so.
Yeah? Okay, cool. Yeah, we've got this just, thank you.
For those who aren't aware, my hair is green. It is not your lighting. That was a question earlier today, so I'm just restating that.
Shout out to the hairdresser who did a beautiful job.
Oh my gosh, Mandy. Her salon on Carey Street. Platinum, I think. Oh no, Mandy's gonna kill me. Wig smoke.
You did not get permission before you did that.
That's true.
Let me know if you need to tag out. It might need some more Vibra.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking right here. Okay.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah.
All right, Kate, I think I got most of it, a tiny bit more, but then we're on metal, so.
Okay. Oh. Hey, Chelsea, you want to put your safety glasses on?
Well, I'm done anyway.
Oh, well, there you go.
To shout a little late.
We had them on before and we missed that.
I know.
We did, we got excited.
Yeah, you good?
Yep, I'm good.
Okay.
You're making very good progress. Yeah, you've been like asleep back there and we're like working. You know what? You're my favorite kind of people. The ones who stay out of the way.
I try.
Everybody to see. Time capsule's being shot.
really,
The last bit's always the hardest.
you know, I hear that. And yet you still hope this is the time that that's not the case.
No. Why would we give up on that now?
Yeah, I know. I'm starting to wonder if it's not.
I thought we talked about
I
making noises.
appreciate the cheers, but the container is being shy all of a sudden. Which I'm not.
I won't hear anymore.
The universe can hear you. The container can hear you. But thank you for your enthusiasm. Contain your enthusiasm. Ah, we got jokes.
Curb your enthusiasm.
No, we're terrible. Archaeologists are terrible for pun jokes.
Right up your alley. You didn't get that either?
Be glad you just have archaeological conservators, not archaeologists.
Oh, full-on
They are the
archaeologists.
worst.
Oh, the puns. The puns.
Oh, the dad jokes.
Oh, they got jokes.
I thought that was just planned.
Oh, no.
it's not.
I mean,
Have you met
he's one of the
Brendan?
best. Have you met
Oh,
Brendan?
only once, actually.
Oh, really?
Oh, really? Oh.
I think it comes out the second time, so
Okay.
you get to look forward to it, I guess.
You mean this other side?
No,
That's, I've been trying both.
No, alright.
Yeah.
I want to make sure I was the first one in mind.
It is what it is. We got food all the time.
Yeah, we've got plenty of time.
Yeah, you got
Your
plenty of
face. It's not really helping here. No,
Just
that's what
remember,
I'm
our
wondering.
clock is wrong.
Yeah, our clock is wrong by like 5 minutes. No, I'm just wondering if. I know. I can't give away the, yeah. We got bosses.
You're on the fourth side?
I am on the fourth side now, and as with all of these things, the last part is always going to be decided to be the most difficult. I'm trying to get an ingress here somehow. Because even if we can get it close to that, I think we'll have more success.
Right.
Maybe. A girl can drink.
No, I agree. I agree with that, Cory.
With all of this media attention, do you ladies foresee some type of pay raise for you?
Yeah.
You know, I hear the governor is going to be here later. My understanding is that her pay is fixed by a grant and my pay is fixed by the General Assembly, maybe? This is why we encourage people to vote and to run for office, who love history, because that is how we get more money to preserve history, is by going through legislation.
Well, I go for the vote, but not for the running for election.
I mean, you know, that's the problem. Historians aren't really as excited about running for office. I know we tend to be introverts. Oh, you snuck up on me. Hi.
So we put blotting paper under there because there's so much condensation on the top. But that's that.
Yeah, we'll be. Yeah. Yeah. Have you gotten to?
Do you have any coffee?
I mean, yeah.
At this point,
I think we're just gonna. I think that's what we're gonna have to do. I'm not even gonna take my gloves off.
Nope.
We're just gonna tag up more frequently because this side is so hard. So we're just, yeah, it's much more difficult than we expected. Did you have any more questions about the coin? I know you.
I wish I could put this to the other side, but.
You want to see the other side?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we're a little busy right now. You know what? You can come back.
I can tell you there's a king's head on the other side.
Which king?
Or there's which king?
I don't know.
Some king.
I haven't gotten it all.
King of England?
Clean. No, well, it's.
We're not even sure about that. So at any given time, we're working on artifacts for exhibits, with grants, projects, and so if you come back and want a tour, please let us know. We will have other artifacts out. We've sort of cleared out our lab for now. Chelsea was hopeful she was going to get to work on that coin, but that just wasn't in the cards today.
Yeah, I was supposed to just be sitting
She
back
was
and not
supposed to-
helping.
She was kicking back.
Yeah. Right?
I have a way of getting people on
I
camera.
told my intern I'd be available for her all day.
Yep. Honestly, God, I not realized it was 3 o'clock already. I'm like, I don't know, Clark. Oh, that's who that was. I was wondering who the young person was. Okay. Okay, perfect. Awesome.
I think he's gonna be in
I'll just see what's there whenever. Whenever. I have plenty of time. No, I know she's, yeah. I think I'll be better when this part is done, because this is the part that is always gonna be nerve-wracking. Yeah. I mean, we're gonna have to, I mean, like, to get it, yeah, we have to get that done tonight. We just. And it honestly looks like this is, once this is revealed, it's probably gonna be a really soon show. Yeah. There's a lot of her type of material, which is what we expected. Okay.
I wouldn't count that as a definite. Because I think there's something under that. Oh, yeah, no, I don't think that's 100%. I've just about got this corner started. Where did you go? Oh, it's like that's why you keep me around. You know, I knew I kept you around for a reason. I want to take it so bad. Yeah,
That's a pain in the ass.
No, you're fine. Yeah, watch it hit your mic.
Oh, my language. I'm mic'd up, I know.
Mics everywhere.
I know there are mics everywhere. It's almost like there are people here watching us. No, I haven't even looked at that yet.
What?
I guess the First Lady left me a coin.
Oh yeah, challenge coin.
Oh, cool, I can add it to my collection. Oh, that's awesome. Oh,
That's the best one. It's really beautiful.
It is.
Alright, I'm just gonna go ahead and just fold this down.
Yeah, I think that's probably.
We got weird hair.
Let's do it. Weird question. Does anyone know what glove size the governor is? Because if he's gonna touch lead, we want him to have gloves. I'm gonna go get on with it.
I'm just trying to see what it fit the man, and I'm gonna tell you what
I'm gonna go get all the sizes and he can decide.
Well, this is a medium on me. Man.
That's a medium, yep.
Yeah, he may do a large. That's why I said, that's why oh, no, that's a secret. Did you tell mine?
No, amazingly enough, we weren't expecting this one.
No. Did you tell mine? Yeah, right? That's a good staff.
Yeah, she was. But I'm sure she looks right
All right, I'll take a large.
We have a large. I'm gonna go see if we have more because we don't have very many. So we'll just hold on to those for now.
Fix it away now. You know. So? All I said was one thing. Well.
I don't have an Apple Watch. I have it on airplane mode to try to like stop that from happening. And I put it on Do Not Disturb, hopefully maybe that's what brings it down. Home stretch, guys. Although, I mean, don't get excited because we're not opening it once I finish this, so. We still gotta wait for the governor.
But he's on his way.
I got her already.
We have large, is what it is.
Perfect. I figured he would.
I figured he would say that. I specifically said not.
All right, Kate, you want to tap out? Yeah. Want is a strong word.
Your hand's gonna cramp up tonight.
Oh, whew. I'm already on two Band-Aids.
All right.
Well, and that tool is technically only supposed to be used in 15-minute stints.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Oh, really? I actually didn't know that. You do what you gotta do. Do what you gotta do. Is it still being? Is it still being tough? It's easier now. I mean, I loosened it up. You loosened it up for me. That's why I keep you around. Loosen the pickle jars.
Like cracked into that jar of pickles right there.
You know what? That was for you.
It was like the night for that.
The night for pickles. Not really sure there's a night for that, but okay.
Right. It's just everything.
Oh,
Wednesday's pickle night? You know, I'm learning all sorts of interesting things today. Back up.
So if I don't have all the colors, I don't.
You told me to pick it up with the ladies in the
infection.
It's a replica catapult. No, don't fire anything at me.
I'm not flying it. There's nothing in it.
Are you guys using my catapults and trebuchets over there? Cause
I didn't know what it was.
you didn't know what it was?
Well, I know it was
better.
a catapult, but I didn't know if it worked.
Oh, it works. I used to use it, put
He
cat
aimed it
treats
at
in
me.
it, and then shoot them, and my cat would go run for them.
Just put a tiny bomb in it.
Uh-huh.
It's pushing the button.
Huh?
Did you have other assignments?
I heard somebody say old age.
I had seed giveaway this morning and I have basketball after this. By the way,
I'm just saying, say it to my face. I can
what's your
handle
temperature
it.
for Robinson?
Temperature?
Oh!
I haven't shot there in years.
just
I don't
gonna
know.
take
Has it
that?
changed?
I don't know. I've never been, I mean, I've shot there. I thought that's why you were saying my stuff was looking red.
A lot of the low light stuff seems red. Underexposed to me.
Yeah, I tend to shoot under.
Well,
I'll work on it though.
good.
How many hours are you working a day?
It's probably gonna end up being about 12.
I left this part so we didn't tell you. Thanks.
Huh? Of course. Yeah, I mean.
They don't pay overtime, do they? Good for you.
You who, wait, what? We get overtime? What happened? No, that's just not how this works, sadly.
So that would be a great surprise.
Did UNOS go well?
Huh?
UNOS, did that go well?
Did I what?
UNOS, you had the UNOS. Didn't you?
Oh, yeah, yesterday. Yeah.
Is that good? Easy?
Yeah, easy. There wasn't much happening.
Hi, it's 3. I don't know if you can see.
Yeah, right there.
There's a lot of kids running through the sweat. Not quite off yet, but getting there. I mean, this is just one of those days where we're going to be working through, which is totally fine. We have them all the time, so. Did you get a chance to see?
I saw y'all were looking at the little cameras, right? Oh my goodness. Yeah. Hey man, theory.
I have been avoiding theories.
Where's my hypothesis? Come on, y'all.
Hypothesis is that there are things in the box.
There are things in the box.
I'm really.
She's going out on a limb here.
I am going out on a limb. We had said before, it does look like there are books in here of some kind. It looks like they've been water damaged. We think it looks kind of like there's something maybe under those books that we can't quite see, which makes sense. Might be more books. Might be something else.
You have a different tool one since I left you.
I do have a different tool. It's almost a little chisel tool. We ended up having to just go a little stronger with this because it's been so difficult. We did get some gloves for you if you. Whoa.
You need hands?
Did you see that?
Yeah.
I don't know if that section's gonna.
Not gonna step on your camera?
The blotter, I don't know if the blotter.
Yeah, I'll just hold it steady.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. That's much better.
Good. Right? Teamwork makes the dream work.
Indeed. Okay.
54.
David Governor.
Oh, just like most of them.
Just like most of them.
Donated blood this morning.
Oh, good for you. That's the best.
Come on, bud.
I think always a little bit short. Yeah. Yeah, you get fresh meal you want, that's fine. We go way back. Almost like it's been 3 years. 2 of those have been, you know,
But my governor first.
longer.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna hold this corner and that corner.
Okay, that's perfect.
Sharp little chisel you have.
It is in the. Oh, there we go. This particular section has been most difficult. It is stubborn.
It's not leaving out easy.
No, it is not. But you're so close. Please don't say that out loud.
The universe can hear you.
It really can. I'm gonna move my hand down here now.
Yes,
But
please.
you can stitch us up, right? If we cut ourselves.
Is that why you gave me the glove?
That is why I gave you the gloves. I'll get you a needle, some thread.
Yeah, there you go. We got everything.
You use your pediatrician touch. Be gentle.
Yes, that would be good.
I'm gonna need it, I don't like needles.
Okay, we're almost there.
You sure are.
Got this.
Wow.
Okay.
You gotta give her a hand.
Yes, you stay there until you know what you're doing. I will, if you want to lift it, I'll hold the blotter paper out.
You sure?
I'm sure.
What do you want me to do with it after I lift it?
Just lift it and put it right there.
Put it
I will
right
grab
there.
you a tray really quick, actually.
She's gonna grab a tray, so you just hold on to that. No pressure.
No problem.
And now if you can just put that down there.
State-of-the-art cafeteria tray. And red.
So this is all blotter paper just because we knew it was gonna be wet.
Alright, can we let Sue pass through?
Does anyone need pictures before we? Sue, I need Sue. There you go.
Sue is coming.
And there's something under the book.
We think so.
I see there's a,
Oh, you can see it?
I see something holding it up.
Okay, so Sue, you're.
She's the conservation.
Yeah, it's a bit.
Don't get up.
Don't get up.
Yes. Yes.
Sue, I've got a tray here, can you?
Like
Yep. You want
that?
blotting paper under it?
Am I doing okay? Slower. Slower. We're good? Yeah. We're gonna move things to that table.
Another book.
No. Sorry.
No, I'm not.
I don't know you're gonna get it, but is there something I can do to help you with that? You got it? Than you expected? Okay. Here, I'm gonna
Abbreviated.
do you want
That's
to
about.
Right. So we'll just start with this one. I've got something under there. Is that okay? You good? You okay?
Oh, wow.
You could read the side of that one. Sign right there.
So right now we're seeing an envelope of some kind. It looks like maybe a cloth envelope. How do you want to proceed? Do you need a? And then under that are some printed pages. Everything is really wet, so we're trying to do this really slowly so everything, we can separate things, they're a little stuck together.
I'm gonna stand up here.
So she's using a Teflon tool right now. I think that is that, am I correct? Yeah. Teflon tool to help separate the envelope from the pages underneath it.
Good.
It does look like the cloth looks like it has a paper coating on it. Oh, I apologize. Do you want to take this out all together and separate it on the table?
Yeah, that's probably fair.
Okay, let's try to do that. Is that okay? So. Is it stuck?
But it's all very heavy. So, and it's been there a long time and hasn't moved. Yeah, I don't think I can hold that one right now.
Okay. Which one is Jeff? Sounds like Jackson.
What a good teacher does.
Oh, yeah, you opened my mind. It's an envelope.
Yeah.
A cloth envelope.
Oh,
Something interesting inside.
Could that be the picture?
Good jokes. I like it. So now what we're seeing is what looks like part of a book, maybe? It's got.
I'm gonna leave them there.
It's very wet and.
Again, inside an envelope. So.
Oh, it does look like it's inside of an
Yeah, yeah, it's the copy that's there.
She's currently.
I mean, to me, that's like the way to go because we can test the paper and, you know, I think the. Yep.
what else you see, Jeff?
Book and an envelope.
Book and another envelope.
Yeah, book inside some kind of envelope or wrapping.
It's interesting they wrap the book. Yeah.
Hell, actually. Pink. Oh, I see. Let me know what you need.
There's a camera behind you.
Got it. Got it. Yeah, sorry.
So far. So far.
So it looks like the cover of the book may have sort of stuck to the bottom of the container. Would this be easier if it was lower for you?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
I think it's just not.
Yep. You're making it.
How about a play-by-play?
I'm trying to.
Little color
Well,
here.
it's a, yeah.
I'm trying to read it, and that's, haven't been able to yet.
It's actually covered, it looks like it's covered in some kind of paper, so it's actually not quite legible right now. And so what we're trying to do is, Sue is trying to do her best to preserve what we can of this book, because it does look like the cover is maybe stuck, and we're trying to make sure we preserve as much of that as possible. And under this book, I'm not seeing anything else.
Isn't that the third book, I believe?
I lost count. Yeah, third and an envelope.
So 3 books, 1 envelope.
Appears to be.
Not quite the 60 objects.
I feel like that's fewer than we expected. Sorry. All of them seem to have some water damage, which is pretty expected with these sorts of things.
So Andre, there's an 1875 almanac is one of the books. And I can't tell what the others are.
1875 almanac.
Uh-huh.
Well, that's what the binding says.
That's what it says on the binding.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, no, no. Oh, no way.
It's always in the way.
Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and a coin. It does say something lovers. And it has a coin stuck to it. We haven't been able to look at the coin yet. And then
Bird one.
Sue, you let me know what you make.
So do we have anything that was on the original list?
So far, I'm not. She is more expert than the one. Like in this one. I guess this is not me.
This is not the same thing.
Oh, and this. I'm sorry. So we're gonna just go to work now trying to stabilize this. So do you want me to just answer questions? Okay. And do you need some more space? Because we can back.
Trying to get out of their way, I guess.
So, because the artifacts are wet, what Sue is doing now is trying to do her best to stabilize them so that we can make sure they're able to be worked on in the future. I'm just trying to get out of the way, sorry. So Sue's gonna need her room. I think it looks like we're letting people take photos. So it looks like it was 3 books, an envelope, and a coin. And if anyone wants a picture of the empty box, feel free.
Hey, Kate, check this out. I found this out about that book.
Yeah?
We found this book important for readers who want to know more about old treasures, so we brought it back to the shelf. Might be a treasure map in there. Right?
Which book was that?
That's this book. I found it on Amazon.
The one that says lovers on it?
The one that says the American Cathedral Almanac.
Oh, the almanac.
Yeah, almanac.
Oh, it's 1875.
Yeah, 1875. It says for people who basically treasure.
You guys. Yo, this way.
He said 3 books, a cloth envelope,
So it looks like we have, yes, 3 books, a cloth envelope of some kind, and a coin that was stuck to one of the books.
Oh, okay, perfect.
So
Okay.
we haven't had a chance to look at the coin.
Got it. Okay. I just couldn't.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Thank
No problem. You're welcome. Any other questions?
How long does the work take from this point on to, I guess, stabilize it?
It takes as long as it takes. So at
Okay.
this point, probably what's going to happen is because these artifacts are wet, Sue is going to do what she needs to do, and then they'll either, depending on how wet they are, they'll either be stable or they might be put in the freezer, just to prevent mold and any further deterioration that we can prevent. So that down the road, it basically putting it in the freezer buys us time, because some of this we just need to do not being flushed by everybody.
But putting in the freezer is kind of like a typical thing you guys do. then
Absolutely.
to
When we're
just-
talking about wet materials like books and things like paper, we freeze them absolutely.
Okay.
And then it just helps to prevent things like mold.
Okay.
They're not gonna move it out of the way.
Do you need to move, Tony?
Yes.
I'm just curious, like, is this, like, the contents, what you actually are, like, doing here?
No, I'm in.
Like, solid.
This is, I don't ever try and expect a condition. I mean, I do think this is pretty much where we expected it to be a little wet. We expected some kind of paper stuff, so I think this is pretty much what we expected, especially with all the temperature changes this box has been through. It was in 70-degree heat on Friday and then freezing yesterday, and then yeah.
Do you think the location of it may have helped salvage parts, like salvage
I do think the location of it helped to protect it somewhat from the elements after, over
Yeah,
the hundreds
okay.
some odd. Yeah, I do think that's the case.
Can you guys not lean on that? Sorry, those are artifacts. Thank you.
It is not our but yeah, thank you guys for being patient while we try to do this the safest way possible. So I'm glad that you guys have,
Said Master Stonemason, something was on the envelope.
okay.
Which might be.
Very cool.
Excuse me.
Ellen.
Elena.
She said it said Master Stonemason.
Hey guys, can I just ask you for a little bit of room?
And my man right here, you.
Yeah, 8 o'clock. She said
To be available for anything.
maybe we just do the questions as that.
I'll probably need a sheet from her to see what she's seen already so I can answer questions.
Okay, so I'll take everybody outside.
We'll get a little sheet together and then I can come out and answer questions as much as I can.
Perfect.
So Kate's gonna wait for a sheet from Sue to get the official list of what she's seen this far. But let's have her take her outside as soon as she gets her.
The other one was he was in charge of the construction in Berkeley.
Yeah,
I think
is
there's
that,
a line
do
here.
you think there would be horribly awful if we were looking at the trays to this just because they're set up here and then we can crowd or would that be more difficult?
That,
If it's too much trouble, you're not concerned about the light or anything?
I'm not concerned about the light, I just want to make sure Sue has what she needs, and right now, I think that she is a lower. Yes.
Okay.
So, would you rather like switch? Yeah.
Guys, we're gonna switch over to this table.
So if we can just get everybody out of the way a little bit.
So if we can have everybody back over here.
Which table?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, which, oh, beautiful.
This table.
Okay.
So we're back right here.
I need my medium gloves, they went somewhere. We'll go over by Sue.
Probably, yeah. Yeah, go for it, go for it. Hold the stop for you here.
Here, you club
Oh, thank you.
Yes, no, I can hold the spot for you here too.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Right, should we need that?
Redesigned the intersections.
No, you're good. Yep. No, you're good. I just was like.
Already. So I'm gonna leave those for her.
You need this.
Tell us the we're yeah. Just one moment, and then we are just gonna make all of you move.
Is she gonna need those? Well, I'm just gonna put them here for now, so that she has more room to put stuff down, and then we'll hand it
So
back to her.
we're gonna give you guys a couple minutes to shift and just give her some room so we can easily move the trays.
So
everybody out of the
this
back area, please.
Yeah, you can go that way. I don't.
Yep. Anybody with a camera except for Jack. Thank you.
I'm gonna go here, let's go right
I would prefer like if I could wipe it down though.
Yeah, you gotta get back to that.
Do we have? Do we have? Yeah. Can you grab white? Yes. Perfect. And then where's my lead trash can?
In the corner. Or there's a.
This one? Oh, here it is. Thank you. Can you? Yeah.
The thing is,
Hey Sue, would you prefer we just recover this, or is this going to be?
I'll have it on water.
It'll be okay.
I'm gonna grab the.
Okay.
I've got the bigger piece of water too. I can put underneath.
Yep.
No, they.
Okay.
We do have some out there. Yeah, there's some in the front. Where do you want to go?
So just stay in the corner all the time.
Oh, I don't know. It's all. She said don't worry about it.
Yeah. Here, give me the 31 seconds. Put it in
I'm
the
just gonna worry about finishing the 5 and 6 for them.
And then we can wipe it down with paper towels, unless you want it for some reason wet. Okay. Yep. Yeah, we're good.
Okay. That's it. Okay.
Someone has to.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is true.
Yeah, it's like the company. Right there.
So you know what I need from you, Sue, though? Eventually, I'm gonna need an inventory, because I'm gonna go talk to them while you do what you do. So I'm just gonna get a piece of paper and start writing stuff.
Jacob.
Well, it looks like so it looks like
Mine is somewhere out in the hall. So mine's just somewhere out in the hall.
You're just fine.
I think he's gonna have
Scale of the old Dominion, but 1889, I thought that was.
That's the white.
Yeah.
AB, or did you just the first draft? Is this the right author? But this one says 1889, but maybe that part of the statute, you know, both came out, the first time capsule was prepared in 1887. That's the statute, both the same author.
That's what he wrote on his envelope.
Oh, really? Yeah, okay.
Just one more person, right?
Okay. Yeah, sure, absolutely.
So you're working on the envelope?
This is what was inside the cloth envelope. It is a piece of paper with like folded, perhaps manuscript with graphite inscription that is currently stuck to a photograph. I'm going about that right now. But it's been mounted on the card.
Yes, okay.
Yes, thank you for the pizza.
We're going to make it where we can send that out, and we have it. These photographs are everything else. But I'm happy to talk to anybody.
Yeah, so Julie. Then that's questions. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here's where we are. The team is going to continue to work and catalog the materials and make sure everything is protected and continue to study and understand what we have. So we're going to step out, let them continue the work. We'll move out to the hallway and we'll have a conversation with Julie, with the governor, with the historical team here, answer any questions you got, and then we'll wrap it up for the day. The Commonwealth film team is going to stay here and continue to catalog everything, and then we'll make all that video available to everybody as soon as it's over. It'll take some time, a few hours, a couple days, maybe longer, to catalog and really understand what's in here. But once the team is ready to do that, we'll put all that information out as well so that everybody knows what's here. So if I can ask folks to wrap your stuff up, we'll meet out in the hallway, sort of over here at the end, and we'll take questions. Cool?
I love that.
Great job, dear.
Thank you so much for coming. Thanks for being supportive. I'm going to get some water before I finish.
Let's give a hand to the team that's doing all this stuff again.
Thank you for your patience.
Thank you guys. Awesome job.
I'm not going to, that hurt.
Thank you.
Have a great holiday, dear. I'm out of here.
All right.
Thank you. Have a good date night. Thank you for all that you do. Have a good holiday. Yeah. Look forward to it.
This is fascinating. So they put out the first part of the pedestal in 1807, but then they didn't put on the monument itself.
Virginia Artist Studio.
Go right over here.
3 years later.
525 East Broad Street.
Wow.
Trying to find a different plan of place.
Good job today. You did good.
I'm leaving you, Sue, but Chelsea's here and other people.
I'm just, see how far I can get. This is it might need to just go through those.
All right,
mounted on a piece of card, and that's where it has an inscription that says James Netherwood, Master Stonemason. Presumably it's a picture of him.
Oh, you think that's a picture of him?
I would presume. I haven't gotten to the middle part yet. There is writing on this paper here.
I just gotta drop this down.
All right, anybody ready for closing remarks? We're about to get started.
I'm just going to get this into some silica gel really quick. So this is silica gel. Silica gel basically has a really massive surface area, which means it dries things better than dry rice does. So I'm going to get it into that. So drop your phone. I mean, I have it, but I do always have to put silica gel.
Okay.
All right, thank you so much.
You're
Appreciate it.
Where does she live? She's got it.
Very dangerous. I think the press should get some kind of patent thing. Dealing with the knowledge and interpret them.
Well, thank you all again for being here at the Department of Historic Resources. And I think you all were able to witness, just as I did, the meticulous manner that these professionals were able to take this box that's over 130 years old. It's made of lead and carefully chisel away and try to get the top off, which they finally did. And there are, as best I can tell, Julie, 3 books and then another writing that was in an envelope. It's very damp, so they're taking their time and trying their best to preserve everything, which is so important. I saw one book that's an almanac from 1875. There was another book, I saw the word love on it, and the author Burgwyn, B-U-R-G-W-Y-N, so I'll let the historians take further look at that and figure out why that's in there. But anyway, I just think it's an important day for the history of Richmond and Virginia to have this box. Whether this is the time capsule that had been written about, I'm not sure, but certainly I think these are some very interesting documents that once they get dried out and once we're able to tell what they are, I think will give us a lot better idea of what folks were thinking back at that time in our history. There's also a coin in there. Interestingly, when the air has gotten to it, it's actually changing a little bit, so they're doing what they need to do to preserve that. But it'll be interesting to see of everything in that box why one particular coin was put in there. So anyway, just a really important and exciting day for the history of this Commonwealth. As you all know, we had 402 years of history, and so to see what was going on at that stage of our history, I think it's really important. So Julie, I'll turn it over to you.
Well, I would just like to say, following up on the governor's remarks, this is an important day for Virginia, but it is an amazing day for the department. We have not had this number of press in our building for this long, ever, in our entire history. And it's really been our pleasure to host you and to learn together, all of us today, the meticulous process that's appropriate in a situation like this. You don't rush these kinds of things. You don't want to do damage, and we have the skilled staff here who know how to take something like this on, and they'll continue to work over the next few days and weeks. I want to thank my staff, especially Kate Ridgway. I want to thank the paper conservator, Sue from University of Virginia. This is really a collaborative effort, a true partnership among state agencies. So it's a pretty important day for us too. Yes.
Can you talk about the next steps? You say days, weeks. What does the next steps look like for those books and this process?
I'm going to defer to Kate, but I just want to say that everything that we do is going to be to ensure the preservation of the content. So we're not going to rush anything.
Hey, Kate, would you mind taking a tiny step down?
Yeah, take a tiny step down. Hi. So the next steps for these artifacts, because the artifacts are actually damp, what we're trying to do now is make sure that they're stable, so that will likely involve Sue separating the artifacts, and then, if she can, and then they will probably go into a freezer. We're trying to prevent any kind of mold damage, and putting it in the freezer buys us time to make a plan. So that's our goal today, is to make sure everything is stable. My colleague Chelsea Blake is actually taking care of the coin, which is a little bit of a different story. We're trying to keep that dry because the corrosion process has clearly already started. When we opened the box, it was very silver colored, and now it's definitely starting to tarnish. So.
What was it like after all those hours to see that open up and to see your work come to fruition?
I was very excited that the lid finally came off. I think that was my favorite part of today.
So the book appears to be Huguenot Lovers by a fellow named Collins and Piermont Edwards Birdwin.
One of the books, yes.
Yes, one of the books. And it appears to have been released, published in 1889. So is that an indication that maybe this is not the time capsule we've been looking for?
So that does bring up questions, since the original time capsule was supposed to be put in there closer to 1887. And so something published in 1889, obviously, that is... we will have questions, and that's where the historians come in to help us. So we want to get it to the point that it's stabilized, so that the historians can come in and help us understand what these books mean. But yes, that date, definitely we have questions.
So we could be looking at a second time capsule somewhere.
But where? There hasn't been another one found. And so I'm wondering, all right, was the contemporary account a red herring? Something that never actually really was implemented? Was there something put in the pedestal that was later removed? These are questions that we'll do our best to answer, and that won't happen quickly. It'll take some time.
Is there any historical record of another box being in there, or if there is another box, would this be something totally new?
I think the historic record we know of is the historic record you know of, which is the newspapers of the day when the time capsule was first put into the pedestal. And it seems like this is not maybe that box, but I don't know that we know any more than that.
Was there a picture in that envelope?
So Sue is working on the envelope right now. So the envelope is made out of cloth, and everything is very damp, and so it looks like there's a possibly a piece of paper, and then under that it looks like there may be some kind of picture. It'll take a little while for us to access that.
One more?
No obvious picture of Lincoln in there.
For what we can see now, we are not seeing that.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you for your patience today.
Glad you asked that question.
Okay, no, I mean, that's my thought. Not every day. And if you don't have any questions, please get
For the, well, I don't know about that. I haven't looked into that, but that's the book right here.
Sue Donovan?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, and she's at the University of Virginia.
University of Virginia Library, yes. She's their archives conservator.
So you put there for me.